The world is about to end. This is urgent. We have no time. Let's go save the world. Let's go on a date! That's the story. And that single transition already explains most of my issues with 2.5. Zenless Zone Zero 2.5 wants to tell a story about urgency, about sacrifice, about moral cost, about what someone is willing to lose so others don't have to. That intent is clear, and when the story commits to it, it actually works very well. At its best, this story is about one thing: a person being valued only for what they can do, not who they are. Xiao Guang's fear is not death. Her fear is failure. Failing to help, failing to protect, failing to be enough. Her panic when she forgets how to cook, her insistence on relearning things again and again, her willingness to endure suffering as long as no one notices. These moments work because they are small, human, and fragile. They do not need spectacle. And that makes what happens next more frustrating. The alter ego is introduced effectively. It reframes Xiao Guang not as a hero, but as a vessel, someone absorbing darkness rather than mastering it. At this point, it feels like the story is committing to consequences. But it doesn't. The reveal that she was already aware of it, the quiet merge, the lack of lasting consequence. By the end, the dual personality changes nothing. It doesn't alter her choices, it doesn't deepen the conflict. It exists to give her two emotional modes. This is the first sign that the story is afraid to follow through. And that fear shows up everywhere in the pacing. The problem is not content, it's placement. Major revelations, child sacrifice, sword corruption, utilitarian logic, are placed directly next to date scenes, casual small talk, banner-driven intimacy. The story repeatedly builds tension, then releases it without payoff. Momentum stops. Urgency stalls. At several points, I wasn't disengaged. I was yawning. Not because I was bored, because the story kept pulling me out of itself. What makes this more frustrating is that the moral core is strong. Sacrifice a few to save the many. Use children to protect the system. Suppress individual for stability. These are not abstract ideas. They are active decisions being made. This is where the story should slow down and let the audience think. Instead, it rushes through blame, apology, and revelation, while forcing characters into passive self-flagellation. Because these are banner characters, their alignment is never truly in question. The conflict feels staged rather than lived. Lockspring is conceptually solid. Is cynicism, is authoritarian logic, is belief that humanity needs control. All of this fits the themes, but the story does not trust implication. His dialogue drags. His absolutism is never meaningfully challenged. Every idea is explained twice. Tension leaks through repetition. The twist works, but the execution is blunt. This lack of trust shows up most clearly in the surprises. Zhao having orders to retrieve the Xingming sword is not shocking. It repeats a structure we just saw last patch. Outsider ally, partial honesty, conflicting orders, confrontation, reconciliation. This is Dylan and Banyue all over again. By the time the reveal happens, it is expected, and that same problem carries into the climax. The moment where the main character cleanses Xiao Guang should be the emotional apex, but it's heavily telegraphed. Prolonged sacrifice framing, explicit "I might die" dialogue, slow walk cutscenes language. By the time it happens, the question isn't if, it's when. Now, here's why comparisons matter. We've already seen this exact structure in 1.4 with Miyabi. In that version, you see the memory surface, tension builds, the decisive moment lands, and crucially, the sound design and music do the emotional work. To really see the difference, do this. Play both climaxes without sound. They're structurally similar. Now play them with audio. In 1.4, the music elevates the scene. In 2.5, the music accompanies it. 2.5 is still good, but it never reaches the same emotional height. This patch impressed me, then it engaged me, then it exhausted me. Not because the ideas were weak, but because the story kept changing priorities. When it trusted its audience, it worked. When it interrupted itself to sell intimacy, it collapsed inward. By the end, I wasn't asking what happens next. I was asking, why didn't you let this breed? Zenless Zone Zero 2.5 doesn't fail outright, but it never commits fully to being one thing. It oscillates between making characters appealing, advancing the narrative. That unresolved tension defines the entire experience. The story didn't let me discover what was coming, it kept asking me to wait politely for it.